Big up Spurs fans near and far with your boy Deji Spurs. And I must be an actor because literally I just finished Step to the Mic and we're here in the location with my brother Toon Tactics. Toon Tactics, Happy New Year, my bro. How are you? I feel like
Happy New Year, sir.
Yeah, man. How you been?
Living life to the full. Living life to the full. Always, the first one I want to say, blessing to be here with you, Deji. Thank you. Thank you for the kind invite. Big up to your chat. I remember from previous times I've been here. Got an incredible chat here. I'm very, very happy, very glad to be back on here doing this show with you, sir.
Brilliant, bro. And Toon, after this, you know, as part of your Christmas gift to me, I would love to be sporting one of those beanies. You know, I like my hats, and I'm feeling the Toon Tactics beanie. Big up to everyone in the location. I got my brother Sean in the building. Big up to everyone that's locked in, locked on. People tuning in after. Toon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
On a level, when we're on Rivals, and I know we haven't done Rivals for a minute together, and it's
I've been missing you guys, man. I won't even lie.
I'm back.
You don't know how much.
Wednesday. I'm back this Wednesday. You know what it is? I needed to I had quite a hectic year, and I just needed to just cool down a bit and just take some time to recharge. But I'm back. I'm coming hard with a vengeance. And yes, I have to say, I love Newcastle, bro. I've been loving your club. Along with Liverpool, I think you man are legit. I was impressed with your draw against Liverpool. And I'm not surprised in terms of your upturn in fortune, in terms of results. And I think Tottenham are probably catching you, man, at the worst possible time. But I want to hear from you. Has Eddie Howe done anything different? Because you started off ropey. Because after you beat Spurs earlier, you kind of dipped. You kind of went through this madness, and then you've picked things back up. I want to find out from you what has been the change from your perspective. And then I also want to, because one of the things I like about you, my bro, you're very level-headed, and the way you see the game is quite different to others. I want to hear about what you're seeing at my club, because I'm not going to lie to you, bro. I am hurting. You know, this show won't be a long show. I am hurting. You've probably seen me, Ash.
That was a great show. That was a great show.
Our back on, man. Do you know what I'm saying? And I want to get your perspective. I just was speaking to Sean from Spurs Talk Show, and he kind of gave a little perspective that maybe if we want change, we got to go through the pain. And he made reference to your club going through similar painful things. Yeah. So I do want to see whether you see the similarities, and then tell me, give your perspective as a fan, what your advice to Spurs fans, as someone that wants success for my club, if you can put yourself there, if that makes sense.
Yes, sir. Yes, no, I well observed, in fact, in terms of how Newcastle have had a mixed turn in form, first of all. And I was going to say, Deji, you probably say this afterwards, but I feel like you said you caught us on time. I think we've caught you at the wrong time. I've heard don't know if you've heard about the outbreak of sickness in the Tottenham camp. Did you know that?
Yeah, we've caught you at the wrong time, bro. We've caught you at the wrong time.
I'll comment on that in a moment.
I'm not. We're not looking forward to this game, and I had Liverpool to put 7 past Spurs, and they scored 6.
Oh, you really said that? Did you say that? Did you predict that?
I had Liverpool to put 7. I've got Newcastle. We might as well do it. You know, like our usual, where I have a kind of format, ban that old crap, to be honest. I've got Newcastle to win 5-0 minimum.
Okay.
Tomorrow lunchtime. Partly because with our strongest lineup, you slapped us up anyway. And I don't know what Archie Gray and Dragushin is going to do against.
They're ill. They're ill as well, Deji. Deji, they're off as well, you know.
Who?
Oh, Deji, you don't know, do you?
I don't know. What is this exclusive?
Deji.
Oh my days, Sean, you want an exclusive one?
Deji, you really don't know what's going on, do you?
Bro, I've just been doing a 2.5 hour step to the mic. I have literally. I don't know what's going on with the world. I don't know if it's been snowing. Because I know there was, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what's going down.
I don't know if this is you see this person as a tier 1 Spurs insider, but you guys have a Spurs army, 40.9k, and there's others as well, Spurs ITKs.
Yeah.
Mate, you've had a sickness outbreak in your camp, and you
I know.
You had 7 first-team players trained. You had 7 first-team players trained. The names that you've got that are not playing: Forster, Radu.
Forster's not playing.
Forster's not playing. Radu, Archie Gray.
Not playing.
Radu's not playing. Archie Gray's not playing. Madders is also ill. They don't know whether Forster comes back tomorrow or not.
Bro, if that is true, what you're telling me.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is it true? Like, I don't know who these guys are.
Okay, so if that is true,
let the chat can tell us no as well. Like,
can people confirm whether Tottenham? I mean, Toki said half your squad are ill. I heard him say that this morning, but I didn't hear him confirm the name. If that's true, then I'm gonna change my prediction from 5-0 to 12-0.
Yeah,
Dragons and Archie Gray.
No, Dragons and Tottenham squad ill. That's on even standard. They just wouldn't name the names, but it's the ITKs that are coming up with the names.
Mate, we're done out here.
Rad. That's what they're trying to say, bro.
You're done, bro.
10 injured Spurs players already. Oh, sheesh, bro.
We're done. Do you know what it is? I mean, he's doing this kind of wah kind of thing. Whatever, man. You make your own luck. We don't have luck because Postecoglou's put us in the mud. But bro, before we deal with all of that anyway.
Yes, sir.
Let's deal with Newcastle. Your upturn.
Yeah.
And then also what you're seeing at my club and your advice to the Spurs fans.
Well, look, Deji, you're spot on in terms of our form. And even when we played you guys in that first 5 games of the season, we were getting the results, but the performances weren't good. So it wasn't sustainable. So even though we beat you 2-1, if you look at literally all the metrics, you guys dominated. Apart from the scoreline. And
I thought we were the better team. We weren't lucky.
No, you were.
I felt at that moment, sorry to cut you, my bro.
Yeah, go on.
Up until that point, and since then, I've not seen a team bad you up the way Tottenham badded you up that day. No one's badded you up the way we badded you up.
Well, take it this way, Deji. We've played the top 6 this season, all of them. We've won 3, we drawn 2, and we lost 1 to Chelsea, which we avenged in the League Cup. Obviously, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City. You guys are the ones that had us. We played Arsenal, beat Arsenal. Yeah. You guys are the ones that had us up. So that first 5 games, like I was saying, our performances weren't great, but the results were there. Then the next 3 or 4 games, then the results weren't good, but the performance were bad. And then the last 3 before international break, performance results were great, and the upturn in form was there. But then the international break, that dastardly international break came. And our momentum was knocked off. So then, that's when you saw us lose 2-0 to West Ham at home, when everybody was expecting us to whoop them. And after that, they got folded by everybody else, which was annoying. But after 3 or 4 games, Howe got everybody's act together. Performances, results. I think, like I said, 4-0s, 3-0s here. And then we had a little, obviously, bump in the road against Brentford. But yeah, then five games in a row, 5 games in a row. 4 clean sheets. It's been very, very and what part? There's 3 things to that, and I'll finish it on this, Deji. So our big performance, our needle movers, our ceiling raisers. Gordon, Isak, Bruno have been absolutely phenomenal. I would include Botman in that, but obviously he's been injured for most of the time. But those are the 3. They've been upturn in form with them. Our intensity in our play has returned, and finally we had a tactical shift with Tonali going into the 6 and Bruno going up into the 8, which has really encouraged our defense to step up. Our midfield want to push up. You would have seen the Man United game and others where it was really not. I don't mean it to say it badly to Man United, but it was a routine victory for us, which was at Old Trafford, which doesn't happen very often. It was light work, as they say, and so. Yeah, so we've got a good momentum, and just as you know, when we're in that period where it's Christmas period, you're getting games every 3 or 4 days, which when you're playing well and winning is good because you can't wait till the next game.
Yeah,
so we just got into that momentum, and so now we're meeting you, and I'm always like, I had the show yesterday with Ash on my show, but we're talking about the game as you guys got fit squad and you got Radu and all those guys. Now as I'm talking to you now, and if these ITKs and all these are true,
but even if we had a fit,
yeah.
I'm being real with you. Even if we had a fit squad, you're gonna bang us up 5-0 minimum because we had a strong squad when we came to you lot and you waxed us anyway. So for me to the kind of illness for me is just it gives a getting out for. Let me tell you what the illness has done.
Yes, sir.
If I be real, the illness is a blessing in disguise for this brother Postecoglou, who I've been on the march to get this brother out, and I tell you why. He can say, well, the illness is the man them didn't have the energy, so us losing 10-0, 9-0 tomorrow is because one, we've got the injuries, and then coupled with the injuries, we were unfortunate with the illnesses just before the game. But the truth of the matter is, bro, even with Romero, Van de Ven, all these brothers there, I would have been worried about this game and I would have been predicting a potential 5-0 because, like you said, you've got the momentum. And that's why I said that this is the wrong time for Tottenham to be playing Newcastle. You've got the momentum. We're in a mess, like a hot mess, a mess that we cannot see out.
Yeah.
So I actually think Tottenham's illnesses is a blessing. So I'm not even going to use that as a reason for why we get lamped the way we get lamped tomorrow. Because I'm expecting it's going to be an epic beating tomorrow. It could be 9. It could be 9.
I see a few, obviously, people are talking about Newcastle not doing well in London. We have, obviously, we lost to Chelsea, but I think last season we did okay in London. Our away form is pretty much similar to our home form. So we've found some balance and some consistency in that as well. But yeah, I know that, man, you guys are in a bit of a spot of bother and a
so Forster's not playing tomorrow, but
so no Forster tomorrow, yeah?
Forster for me. So big up to Hotspur Cave J in the building, confirming that no Forster. First, Forster, let's just be clear. He's been crap. Yeah? I've been calling out for Austin anyway. At the very worst, Austin can't be any worse than Forster. And if he is, we'll never see him again. So for me, like people saying,
how old is Austin?
Forster, like he's a big deal. He's rubbish. You know, like we don't miss him. You know, like that. Udogi ain't playing. So what? He's been rubbish. You know what I'm saying? Like the man that you want anyway have been crap. Archie Gray can't defend. He can't defend. He's not a defender. Dragushin, he's been rubbish as well. Do you know, like it's not.
Who's going to be your centre backs? Who's going to be your centre backs? If it's true that Archie and Dragushin are out, who's the centre backs? Is it under 23s?
What I don't understand is we got this young brother called Dorrington. Yeah, he's from the academy. Played the academy youth. He will probably play centre back. And I can see them putting Basuma at centre back, which is a disaster. I mean,
Basuma.
It's going to be Basuma, Dorrington, Jed Spence at left back or Reguilon, and Pedro Porro. I mean, you can't make this crap up, to be honest with you. I mean, it's laughable. It's really laughable. But you know what is mad about it is we had a boy called Phillips. He was the main man for Blackburn.
Ashley Phillips,
and we sent him out on loan.
You have to. Can he come back for tomorrow? He
can't. You know, but why did you send him out? Like, and he is someone that could have been playing instead of Ben Davis. Not that I had an issue with Ben Davis. I suspect Ben Davis is back though, because they talked about he could be back. So it could be Ben Davis and Dorrington. So they've got a plan.
Okay.
It's not a total disaster.
Yeah.
It's probably no worse than what we've got. And Jay says we should have kept Joe Rodon. I mean, for me, what I see with Tottenham is poor planning. Like, we've never had such an injury crisis. Well, you kind of did last year after the Chelsea game. Just prepare. Newcastle are not going to allow the level of injury you had last season. I can't see Eddie Howe allowing that to happen again. He's made your squad. He's beefed you man up.
Yeah, we had roughly 10 plus. We had one of the worst injury records last year. Us, Chelsea, Man United,
And Spurs.
and Spurs. Yeah, and yeah, we ended up with 60 points, and obviously Champions League and everything. So that kind of took it out of us. This year we got a new sporting director who brought in he's like not a physician. He's a person that puts together like the medicine department, and like he's sports performance director called James Bunce. And our injury record has really lowered as a result of that. So we've been really blessed. We haven't had we haven't last 2 transfer windows. We haven't really bought anybody at all, really. So in terms of beefing us up, we haven't really had any first team players at all, and just because of PSR and everything. But our injury players have returned. Even Botman's fit. Even Botman's going to be in our lineup hopefully tomorrow as well. So we have that to look forward to. So yeah, man. Like what I asked, because I spoke to Harry Scarface and I'll ask you the same question, because obviously Tottenham are no strangers to the Champions League in the last 10 to 15 years. You went the 8 or 9 years, 10 years maybe in a row. So you guys, in my mind, are more than well experienced in playing various competitions and knowing how to build a squad. What's happened is my question. Where is that squad building gone to?
So I think, look, I want to qualify this by saying that, and I keep having to qualify it because if you hear me these days, you'd think I really hate Ange. I enjoy his football. I do enjoy his ball. I do prefer it compared to Mourinho and Conte, and I do like him as an individual. I just don't think he's cut out for the Prem.
Okay.
No one's going to tell me that professional footballers are not athletes. They are. Yeah. To play in the Prem, you must be an athlete.
100%.
So that can't be, because someone said to me, well, we need athletes. Well, I'm like, well, they are. They are athletes. Yeah. Postecoglou is trying to say that maybe the way he trains might be part of the reason why the players are injured. I just think it's a mixture. He said it's a mixture of everything. I just feel like the players have been poorly managed by him. And it goes down to management. He poorly managed. I knew there was an issue with his management style when we lost to Brighton, because I said,
right,
this brother plays good football, but he doesn't know how to manage games. Mm-hmm. It transpires he also doesn't know how to manage players. He was banging on about how we have to use Udogie, we have to use Pedro Porro because we don't have cover. Well, Jed Spence has come in because he had to come in. And Jed Spence has been better than both Pedro Porro and Udogie. So if you needed to rest one of these brothers, you could have just played Jed Spence. Why didn't you?
Yeah.
So he's made certain choices that has shot him in the foot. Kulusevski, after the Liverpool game, admitted and said, sometimes we have to go with a style of play that compensates or complements the players we have available. Yeah. So you playing Archie Gray, who is a DM and centre back, his head is already lost. If you midfield and defense are not the same. If it was, everyone would do it.
We're doing it,
yeah. So you playing Archie Gray out of position. Jed Spence is a right back, by the way, not left back. And you've asked a right back who's now playing left back to invert on the left. Bro, it's like driving on the left, bro. It's driving on the left is not the same as driving on the right.
Right.
Some people can do it.
Yeah.
When I went to Paris last year, I took my car, which the steering wheel was on the right to feel more comfortable. Because if I was on the left with all the traffic and looking at the signs and all them things, brother, I would have hit something.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
I understand.
That's what he's asking these brothers to do.
Yeah.
So they're in sixes. So you're making life more difficult in an already difficult circumstance. And that's what I find unforgiving. Have I seen him say, you know what, against Liverpool, we're just going to have a flat back four. Don't run anywhere. Jed Spence, just lock off Salah.
Right,
Just lock
right,
off. We would have been fine. But he's telling Jed Spence, lock off Salah, and then you now need to be partnering Solanke up top. So when we lose the ball and Trent knocks it into Salah, what for that? What's he going to do? And Salah's no slouch, is he?
Yeah, no, he's not. No,
and guess what? Tomorrow, when we're up against Gordon and Harvey Barnes,
and well, it's Gordon, Isak, and Murphy, probably.
But it's long. It's long.
Yeah,
it's a big ask. For me, keep it simple. That's all I'm asking for. At least while you're trying to get the players back, manage the players.
But do you think, and I hope this doesn't happen, I hope what you say happens, with all these illnesses and sicknesses, that you might see a more defensive, a more pragmatic, shall we say, approach from Ange tomorrow?
He's already said he can't change his ways.
But what if he does, though? What if he does?
If he does and we get a result, that means he's woken up. That means he really wants to be here. But the way that this brother's been moving, he's been moving like this is Casino Royale. This man's moving like 007, bro. I think it's Casino Royale. To get me, red or black.
Yeah.
What I'm saying. If he tries to go at Newcastle with a team that's been ill all week, with a team that is heavily injury laden, and you think you want to go and take Newcastle and win, he's a madman.
I think
that's why I can see us getting. I can see you, man. You're gonna have to call child protection for tomorrow's game, boy, because it could be very long for my club. I swear, man.
I see him doing. I think he'll be pragmatic. I think he'll be a lot more pragmatic, and I think he'll use. And I hate this because it could give you a better chance. He'll use Kulu, Solanke, and Johnson and others to kind of try and hit us on the break and stuff like that. So he might have his eureka moment. He might have his epiphany or his eureka moment in that place, and he might say to himself, "Wow, maybe this part of the game we can do." Like, bro, I hope it doesn't happen. I hope you come out.
If he does that and we only lose 2-0, that's a fantastic result for me. If we don't get a hammering, I'll be happy with that.
Right.
The only reason why the Liverpool game didn't seem so bad is because we scored 3. In essence, we lost 3-0. I can take 3-0.
Right.
I can lose 3-0 to Newcastle tomorrow. I'll be like, oh, is that it? But once we start hitting the 5, 6s, 7s, no, it's long. And big up to the final boss in the building that's confirmed that Forster's out. Fine. Like I said it before, I'll say it again. Like Forster's been rubbish. So we're not losing anything there, mate. You know what I'm saying? He's been crap. Oh my days. Like that equalizing goal against Wolves last week. I never wanted to see him again. So look, on a personal, because I don't wish bad on any player, Forster, get well. But as opposed to, are we missing him tomorrow? No, we're not.
It'd be interesting to see also who you'd have on a
and you've got a pretty much fully fit squad tomorrow, yeah?
Yeah, even players coming back. Botman is, like I said, is going to be on the bench. Our bench will look like probably Barnes, Botman, Willock, Livramento, Longstaff, Miley, the young Miley, might play as well. Might be on the bench. Yeah, like we're gonna be good. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right.
What's your prediction for tomorrow, my bro?
Well, yesterday, before all of this, it was 3-1. For some reason, you're gonna think it's odd, but I have this funny feel like I'm not gonna. I don't like that. I don't like thinking like that.
Just say it, because I'm gonna qualify that with something as well.
I think he's gonna play pragmatic. If it's true, if all these things are true, he will play pragmatic, because if he doesn't and he opens up and he plays against us and we do smash you 5-6-0, he's going to get sacked.
Yeah.
And I think fear would give him common sense. which then makes me think that we'll probably well, I'm still going for a result. Probably go for about 2-0.
Yeah, you say 2-0.
Yeah. 2-0.
Is that before or we're now? So you went 2-0. So the one positive thing, and big up to the final boss, he says, I think Spurs can put goals past Newcastle. Their defense is not scary as they're missing Shaw, but going the other way. I like Newcastle's defense. That defense for me is solid, in my opinion. But I hear your point. You just heard Toon talk, but I love this from Sean, my brother. He said, how things have changed. Last season, Newcastle arrived at our place with a shed load of injuries. We slapped them. This year, question mark. Revenge is a dish best served cold, they say. That there is poetic from Sean. I can't lie to you. I guess for me, the one positive I can take out of Postecoglou is that every fan that I've spoken to has had the same reservations or anxieties about playing Spurs. Almost like you don't know what you're going to get. And Liverpool fans were the same. They were like, right, like we are fearful. We genuinely think you could beat us. And I'm like, you're almost saying the same, despite seeing the amount of players out, you're still almost saying Spurs are capable of anything, which on one hand pleases me because it's like, right, you've got this.
There's a respect that there's
a respect there that Tottenham can do something under this brother.
Yeah.
But if we don't, there's also an acknowledgement that you could hurt us because of this brother as well.
The thing is, though, there's a respect from a fan point of view because I've seen it, because I've seen what you guys have done. But then I see how my team plays against you, and I almost feel like there's something with Howe and the players where I'm beginning to think that they don't have the same. They have a respect, but it's not the same. Like it's because they still go out and play, they still go out and do their thing. Like obviously, we've had some really good results. I remember maybe from a player point of view, that it's just a little bit different on the ground. Like what I saw Isak do to what's that fast guy's name? What's his name again? Your defender, Van de Ven. That was just that was crazy. So I mean, yeah, from a fan point of view, from everyone's point of view, like you guys are the second highest goal scorers in the league. Your attacking is awesome to watch as well. It's so still got that fear, like still got that little bit of respect, like bro, like anything can happen here. It's different to Man United.
You can see. I mean, there's so much tune that I want to ask you. Quick one here. Robert says that you don't have your centre backs or your keeper tomorrow. Is that true?
No, Pope has been injured for a few. But remember, okay, so Pope is injured. All these guys are injured or Shaw suspended for yesterday. And people said about centre backs. The last 5 games we haven't had our first team goalkeeper and we've kept 4 clean sheets. So, you know, I think our centre backs, because they're old, a little bit old, and not fast, are severely underrated. But they're very good ball playing centre backs who have kept us clean sheets. Like Burn and Shaw. You have to remember 2 years ago, we had the second best defense in the league. We only lost 5 games. Who was our defense? Burn, Shaw. And I know Botman was there as well, but you know, Burn and Shaw were in the middle of our defense. And this time we're going to have Kelly. So I know Kelly's not. He's fine. Like he's more athletic. He's faster, good on the ball. He'll have Burn next to him, so we'll have the aerial duels.
He's up against Brennan Johnson, so there's nothing to worry about.
So we'll have that. And look, our fullbacks in Livramento and Hall have been absolutely incredible. I don't know if you heard Thomas Tuchel's even coming to our game. So
yeah, he is. I don't know what for. He's coming to watch the Newcastle players, I assume.
Yeah, I don't know what I can't think what English players you got, but we've got Livramento, Hall, Gordon.
Obviously, we got Solanke and Madden.
Solanke, obviously. Yeah, exactly.
Bro, so Tune, I mean, I'm enjoying this, and we're just free flowing. It's almost like one of the 3 stars that we did the other week. But I don't know if you saw any of those 3 stars. You just got me bringing up the creativity there.
I saw the show yesterday with yourself, Jay, Jacob, and whatnot. Like, because I really, really enjoyed this show. I probably have some of my favorite content creators, really. So I was really enjoying it, and I like that. I can't remember. I think you added the analogy of how you guys describe Spurs as like a middleweight boxer who's had a hell of a over right hand fighting in the middleweight and got used to that before he could take it up to the heavyweight and realize now you need a little bit more than a right hand heavyweight.
Straight, bro. It really does feel like that. Yeah.
It feels like that, and I thought that was a really, really apt description of what maybe Spurs are. You do have, and maybe that's how I feel. Like you have the over right hand, which is your attack, but then after that, after we deal with that, if we can deal with that, I'm comfortable with what happens after that, if that makes sense. So
100%.
You know.
So I wanted to ask you to big up, because I think you're right, and I think that's the thing that I realized. Ange Ball works when the opposition is weaker. So
what's your record against the top six sides? What's your record?
Our record so far: we lost to Arsenal, beat City, lost to Chelsea, lost to Liverpool. Yeah, so we've won 2.
Man United. You smashed Man United.
Yeah, 1-3, lost 3. I think, because we beat City, United, and then we've lost the rest. Yeah, we've lost the rest.
Okay.
What I was saying is, when I watch like the kids' football, when you're playing Prem level players in kids' football and they go down just a division, the gap is crazy. So we have something called the league that my son plays in. When they went down, when they mixed the 2 divisions in the cup, and there's 12 divisions in this league, by the way. So they're in the top 2. When they go, there's 12 divisions in this league. My son, for example, plays in the Prem. When they went to play a team in the 2nd division, so let's say they're Prem Championship level, they were winning 14-0. Just that difference in gap. And then even the top of the Prem and the bottom of the Prem, there's a gap. Do you get me? So I realized that Ange's style of play, you don't get a hamstring when you're playing Championship League One players, because you're faster, you're stronger, you're more intelligent than them. So your body, you don't exert. Like when Tottenham played Tamworth, they're not exerting.
Yeah. You can slow down the ball. You can play it about.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you're playing Newcastle, Liverpool,
you can't do that. You really
can't, because you get found out. But what I want to know from you two tactics. So there's a lot of hysteria in the Spurs camp. I'm Ange out. I think Ash is. Jay is almost there. George is almost there. And I'm Ange out because I believe that he is this middleweight boxer, thinking he can go heavyweight, and U6 is going to slap you up. Even Anthony Joshua is going to put you in the bin. You get me? Like, when are you going to realize that as a middleweight, if these brothers hit you, you're out. You're going to you're going into a coma. That's what I'm seeing with this brother. What are you seeing, though? Should Spurs fans like me, should I have more patience? People are reminding me about Arteta. He only got 8th. I'm saying to people, if we give this brother more time, this is legitly Casino Royale. He could finish us. By the time we bring someone in, it could be a complete disaster. But you had similar things under Eddie Howe. It looks like all the naysayers have piped down again.
Yeah.
What are you seeing from it as an outsider looking in?
It depends. If I was a Spurs fan, it would depend what Spurs fan you're talking to and where you're coming from. If you're coming from the point of view of we are a top 4 Champions League side, this is below our standard, you're going to be very, very angry. If you're coming from the point of we're a Big 6 club, we should be doing more, this isn't our standard, you're going to be very, very angry. Then you've got the kind of the Tottenham fans who just want a trophy and aren't overly bothered about the league. Then you have someone like, I know, for instance, yourself, you want Champions League and Europe and like really in the Premier League itself, and you didn't really like the League Cup, FA Cups, or whatnot. And so you still don't. And so is different from there. And then you have maybe the Tottenham fans who have accepted maybe a little while ago where Tottenham are. And where that is at the moment is you're kind of, I'm not going to say it's a form of a rebuild, but it's just been happening. It's just not been happening. It's been happening very badly for the past several years, where you guys lost your identity after Pochettino and went and tried to be like Chelsea, in my point of view, taking their match, which I could never understand because you played better football than Chelsea.
Yeah.
And so I could never understand that. You didn't have the trophies, but you had a better football, and all it took is for you guys to anyway. But so you lost your identity, and now you're trying to get it back. And I think, like on Levy, I think tried to get that back by getting a Postecoglou in. But as I realized that, and I'm kind of speaking more and more to you guys, to yourself, to, for instance, to Ash, to Harry Scarr, for instance, the style of play that Postecoglou got is almost like, it's like an extreme version of the Pochettino side, and it's just one way and it's one rhythm. And so the idea, the intention, if I can say that from Levy, I know that he's hated, but I can see by hiring Postecoglou, the intention was the right intention. I mean, remember, you guys tried to sign Arne Slot, who is the style.
We did try to,
So if you had Arne Slot right now, I think we'll be seeing a very different Tottenham. I think we'll be seeing a Tottenham more closer to a Pochettino Tottenham. And I don't think you'll be buying a Brendan Johnson. I don't think you'll be buying. You might get an Archie Gray, but I don't think. I don't think
Timo Werner's in the bloody squad. I mean,
Timo Werner is.
Yeah,
exactly. Timo Werner isn't in the squad, so I think I think you'll have a different set of players. The way you attack will be playing how Liverpool are playing. So it's just those close things that have happened. If you had Arne Slot, you'd be different. But you got Postecoglou, who's just an extreme version of Pochettino and of Arne Slot, if I can say that. And so I think where you're at the moment is finding the identity. You're still looking for that identity. You've got Postecoglou, who's the closest to it, but he's an extreme version to it. You now need to, and like again, the if you asked me this before I saw the show yesterday, I would have said stick with Postecoglou and see the process out.
Yeah.
But then listening to you guys, listening for the whole 2-hour show, and listening exactly to what you're saying, I think he has to leave. But you have to get the right. Don't go getting now a pragmatic Conte type of manager. Stick with the approach, but with like an onslaught. Still press forward, but have that kind of manager, if that makes sense. So yeah.
No, I agree, and thank you. And weirdly, after we lost Poch, the person that I earmarked was Marco Silva, and because I watched the job that he did at Watford, and I was so impressed. And to a certain extent, he was given I think the Everton job is a poison chalice, to be honest. I think even the Everton job made Ancelotti look like a waste man, to be honest with you. And he didn't do a bad job there.
Yeah.
But ever since he went to Fulham, and he got Fulham cooking the way that they, I mean, so you know, Fulham drew with Spurs. They beat Liverpool. They drew with Liverpool.
They smashed us up.
They smashed you up. They beat Arsenal as well. I think, and I don't know, it'd be good to hear from Spurs fans or anyone who knows more about Marco Silva. I think he's the closest to Poch. I don't know. There's just something about him. Now, Eugene, who I was chatting to just a moment ago, was telling me that he doesn't want a mid-table manager because he doesn't want mid-table results. Something tells me that, well, Pochettino was at Southampton before he came.
He was.
You know what I mean? Like, I keep telling Spurs fans, when we brought in Poch, what did you expect? Don't lie. We were not expecting to win the league or come second in the Prem. We were hoping for top 4. And no, bro, if someone had told me in 2019 Tottenham will be in a Champions League final. See my little cup here, my little mug thing that I drink. I'll have thrown it at there being there, like, shut your mouth. The one thing Tottenham will do, I can see Spurs getting Champions League football, but as for a final, I don't think I was ever going to see that in my lifetime unless some Saudi people bought us and then we started bringing in the likes of Mbappe and then lot. You get me? But we got there under this brother. I think Marco Silva could do that. I think he could.
Yeah, there's a lot of different talent.
Look at Iwobi. Look at Robertson. These are, no disrespect, these are standard brothers that are waxing everyone in the Premier now. If you get what I'm saying. I don't know if you know what I mean. And
no, I know.
Yeah, go on, bro.
I think the only difference is Marco Silva is a very experienced. He's learned from his mistakes very clearly and how they've got things going in Fulham. The only thing is with Fulham, even Nottingham Forest to a lesser degree, they don't have the same pressures as a Tottenham has. Yeah. So the key is, if I was to hire Marco Silva, can I look in his eye and say, yeah, he's learned from Everton. He's learned from, those orders of it. Because remember how he left to go, I think he's left. Who did he leave? Was it
he left Everton last, wasn't it?
Who did he leave in the lurch? There was a club that he left in the lurch. They picked him up and he left. Was it Watford? I can't remember.
Because he went to Everton straight away.
Okay, so he must have left Watford in the lurch.
Yeah.
So has he learned from those experiences and can he now handle because Fulham is, these guys, Iwobi's making music in the studio and then going football.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Bro.
And that's cool. That was cool. People comment and think that's cool. But look at, for instance, I know Man United is different, but it won't be too dissimilar. Luke Shaw did a TikTok video and they're getting slammed. Oh, no, Madison went to darts with Brennan Johnson and look how that turned out for him. There's going to be a difference in that. And so if Marco Silva has learned from his experiences and how to manage the pressures that will come with a Tottenham and still kind of play style of football, which I know that think he would do, then you've got a fantastic manager. You've got a fantastic manager. But if not, then you are at risk of having those dangers, those problems happen to you again. So that's what
for real. So I guess so that's my kind of suggestion. I looking ahead for this month, we've got you guys tomorrow, which I've written off. We've got Liverpool in the cup, and I'm saying that. I mean, I know Toon, and this is just for me. I'm just teasing you here.
Go on, sir.
I wouldn't. The Carabao Cup isn't enough for me for this man to keep his job. I'm sorry.
It's not only of itself in terms of how things are now. It's not good. Like, you wouldn't want that. So, for instance, we're now fifth. We're playing well. We're in the semi-finals. If we were to win the Carabao Cup in March and we're still fifth, I'll be very happy because I know that the team is playing well. And do you know what I mean? And we're winning.
It's progression, and you've got a trophy to show for it as well. Exactly, that you're moving forward. Yeah,
exactly. But heaven forbid we're 14th, and we've snuck our way to the final, won a cup. Yes, we haven't won a trophy. I'll be happy for that. But I'll know that I know that the seasons are right off. Exactly. If the owners aren't sharp enough to say, you won a cup, but you're not good enough. We need to do. I mean, look at Bournemouth. When they sacked Gary O'Neill, everybody was saying that was dangerous because Gary O'Neill did really well after Scott Parker.
He had been playing some great football, man.
He had them playing some great football, got them in a good place. Are they sure about this? But once they hired Iriola, you can already, obviously this is 2020 now, looking back, hindsight looking back. But I realized that the owners had a very distinct, very strong vision for what they wanted to do. To be able to sack a manager who's performing well and say, nah, there's somebody else. There's somebody else that is going to do what we're going to do. That's something else. And so in that position, like you said, like say if Tottenham win the League Cup, but you finish the season 14th, 15th, Postecoglou is like a Ten Hag situation. You still thank you for the cups, but we need to get up the league, and you're not the person to do that.
Yeah.
And so I would say though, the last thing I'll say is because you asked me right at the beginning of the show if I haven't endured some hardships as a Newcastle fan. I've seen 2 relegations in 10 years. Oh my word.
Real, you have actually. You forget that. You actually forget that. It's going through. That's so bad. Yeah.
That's in my lifetime. So what I'll say, the only thing I'll say is, I say it in terms of advice, every fan of any club can do what they want. How they support their team is up to them. The only thing I'll say, and this is just a personal preference, and I still did it even as a Newcastle. I know I can say it because I did it as a Newcastle fan, is don't let these rival fans
rattle you.
Yeah, rattle you. You'll get, but don't like show yourself. I get why people do it, but I feel like maybe some rival shows and stuff like that, like where they're like, "Oh yeah, we are Spurs." I was saying this, we are Spursy. I didn't know this, but the term Spursy, for instance, came when you guys were actually winning cup competitions, and the thing for Tottenham to do was to win cups. Hence why they called it Spursy.
Yeah.
So when now fans have turned it into a negative, for instance, like I've seen Spurs fans embrace that and say, "No, we are Spursy. Yeah, we won Man City. We're going to lose to Wigan or whatever tomorrow." And I always think maybe you're being true and authentic to yourself, but I just couldn't do that to my club like that. And I'd still want to. And I think part of it's because you guys are in the top. You've been thrown into the top 6 as a big 6 club by the media.
Yeah,
because you crashed that top 4, and so the top. And so what's happened is that it's a case of keeping up with the Joneses, where you've moved into a well-to-do neighborhood, and you got money yourself, but you haven't got the money they got. You got the lesser house.
You're not old money, basically.
You're not old money.
Yeah, you don't have that.
You know what I mean?
I was watching one of them kids movies about the princesses and the kings and all that. You ain't got that decorum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That class.
Right. So they always beat you over the head of you haven't won anything. Oh, look at your stadium, and it's just a Beyonce concert. And some of these clubs, no matter how big they are, their stadiums are crusty.
Yeah.
Their football clubs are dust. All these, but I've seen like fans that take that and said, "Yeah, we know," and I get that. I understand that. I just think don't, because I think it also seeps into your fan base. It seeps into your players. And like I said, I can't remember who I argued with it last year, for instance, and I know people got different views on it. When, for instance, I asked, that game against Man City where you guys are telling Man City, to turn a place to lose the game and stuff like that. I think it seeps into how you guys go into cup competitions, go into games where your hate for a club for Arsenal is now deeper than your love for Tottenham. And I think it's affected it. And I think if you show yourselves like Newcastle fans,
I can't have Arsenal win the league. Like that can't run.
No, but I know that. But I think when people see that and they add everything else onto it, i.e., you're Spursy, i.e., you got this big old stadium and you got no trophies, it all feeds into that. It would be different if you were winning stuff and doing stuff and saying, "No, we can't have Arsenal winning as well." It's like a Liverpool Man United fan arguing. I'll get that because they both win trophies, but you're not winning anything, and you're being called Spursy. And so instead of it being cool to hate Arsenal, you just look needy. You just look bitter. Do you get what I'm saying? So I just think and you've allowed it because you've also allowed, like, you got into that, lumped into that big 6, top 6 club thing, and you get these other big 6 rival guys reminding you of how rubbish you are, and then you're not up to their standard, that you guys just taken on that persona. I say that as a real, not as a, when I say as a fan of football, like I always say to you, I've said it to you, I've said it to Sava, I've said it to others, my perception of Tottenham is when you guys were under Pochettino and you guys were playing some of the best football in the country. And it was that point where people were saying, who's going to take the throne in England? Is it going to be Liverpool or is it going to be Tottenham? I really thought it was going to be Tottenham because your players, your style of play, everything you were doing. You had Moussa Dembele, you had those two centre-backs whose names I can't pronounce. You had all those guys. And I just thought, it's going to be them. They play the best football. And the fact that it goes on to, there's a fault of your owner for him not being secure enough in the identity of who Tottenham are. And then looking at Chelsea, looking at the others saying, like moving into the neighborhood, I want their Rolls Royce, even though I can't afford a Rolls Royce, So I'm going to get Conte. I'm going to get Mourinho. Why? Yeah. I always thought, why? Why would you get these guys?
I don't know why. I don't know why.
But because you thought you can get Chelsea results by clapping on Chelsea. You weren't, your owner, for whatever reason, your board weren't securing their own identity and said, no, we need to get another identity to do what we're doing. And so now you're kind of on a journey to get that back, as we talked about earlier. But yeah, I think just as a fan, me personally, I'm not saying be delusional, but I still give it to the other big six clubs.
I hear what you're saying, and one of the things that when we do talk, you try to say that actually you're no different to Newcastle.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess for me, what I'm trying to do is, I just have high standards for my club, and I think you have to push. If you push for a Champions League and you get a Carabao, at least you got something. But if you push for a Carabao and you end up with nothing, it's a disaster. I guess my question to you before we close, my bro, and it's been a fantastic show. I enjoyed it.
Yes,
sir. Locked on. Wouldn't you want Newcastle to be a big six?
I would want Newcastle. No, I wouldn't want to be in the big six.
I think there's a gravitas that comes with it.
No,
and
I don't want
you guys are playing.
Deji, you've asked a fantastic question. I've been burning for somebody to ask me this question. You know what? I don't want nothing to do with the big six. I don't want them to lump myself with them at all, with their kind of cartel behavior and some of their self-entitled, self-grandiose fans who think they know more about football because their team has won league titles, not them. They chose to win, to support winning teams and think that makes them better football fans. I want Newcastle to be what a Telegraph labeled us, which is the leaders of the rebellion. Rebellion against the system, rebellion against the top six. And if you're a club and you want to join us or you want to be in your own league and kind of do your own thing, I want Newcastle to be their own club. I wanted people to say it's Big Six versus Newcastle. That's what I want them to say. That's what I want.
Is it really that though? Because I would say one thing. I would fully agree with you that you could have led the rebellion if I felt that you genuinely built from the ground up.
We did build from the ground up.
So part of me feels that because of your owners, let's not be stupid. I'm just going to keep it real. Your fortune as a club changed when you changed ownership. Yeah. And yes, you haven't gone into the market and spent 100 mil on players. But what you have done is you've been able to offer, maybe publicly or in private. Like I look at Guimaraes and I think, why does he go to Newcastle? And I think he goes to Newcastle because he's been promised that there's going to be big players coming through, and also you can spend big on wages, which for whatever reason Tottenham can't do. But let's not forget the fact that you are the richest team in the United Kingdom, and maybe that also has a part to play. So Border says they're not allowed to spend it. I get that, bro. But it's like you working for a billionaire. At some point, some of that P is trickling down to you, whether it's free meals, whether it's free flights to the Maldives. You're gonna get some of those benefits. I'm not prepared to accept that none of the billions that Newcastle have hasn't filtered or infiltrated the team on the pitch.
Well, tell me how.
Who?
So tell me how. How have you seen it?
I think Guimaraes, Tonali don't come. How much are you paying Guimaraes a week?
It's about 110, 120k now.
I just don't see Gomez
So
joining.
let me say,
Newcastle.
because you're talking
Please,
about,
bro.
you're talking about.
Sorry to knock it, but I hear what you're saying. I totally agree, but I do feel
You're not knocking it. I think
you guys
you are
are in a
knocking it.
different place there.
Well, I think it's disingenuous, and this is I don't think it's disingenuous. I think it's misplaced to think that we're not.
Does Isak go to Newcastle?
Okay. We're talking about the ground. We're talking about the ground up. We had Mike Ashley for 14 years, who not only took us from the ground up, he took us to hell, right? He took us to a hell. He took us to 2 Champions Leagues, to two championships. That's below the ground. That's below 6 feet. You couldn't get more organic. You'd have to be a vegan-based diet to be with Mike Ashley. That's how organic and that's how ground up-ish we've got. You guys wouldn't notice because you guys were busy playing in the Champions League. But our takeover took 2 years. It took 2 years because, as we've discovered later on, the Premier League and all of its powerful influences, Liverpool, Arsenal, blocked that takeover from happening for 2 years. When it happened, when it eventually happened, because government intervention needed to happen in order for it to come through, there's emails now that have come from the Man City trial where it stated that clubs, 11 clubs, all put together by big clubs, which we believe to be Liverpool and Arsenal, said we now have to create laws and conditions to stop clubs from the Gulf regions, i.e. Man City and Newcastle, from and sponsorship deals and all this other stuff. Now the spending has been curtailed. If you were talking in terms of Isak, for instance, you're talking about Bruno Gomes and our first 5 signings, it wasn't Mbappe, it wasn't Neymar, it wasn't Rubino like it was for Man City. It was Dan Burn. It was nearly retired Kieran Trippier. It was Matt Target. I remember how many teams were scratching for Matt Target. When Bruno Gomes came in, nobody knew who Bruno Gomes was. When Isak was bought, which was a season later, people said, how can you pay 70 million for a striker who only scored 6 goals last season? The reason why you're talking about Bruno and Isak now is because Eddie Howe and his coaching staff and his team and his style of playing, his philosophy made them into superstars. That's why you've got it. That's why you've got Gordon now. You got Hall. You got Tino Livramento. You got Joe Linton tearing it up. Joe Linton was seen as the worst purchase in Premier League.
Worst striker I've ever seen in my life.
In Premier League history. If you can't get any. We had hydrotherapy. Hydrotherapy pools where players go to get to relax and stuff like that. Do you know what our version of hydrotherapy pools was? Wheelie bins. Our players went into wheelie bins for their recovery. You could not get more ground level than Newcastle United. We can't even get the sponsors we want. They won't let us have our sponsors. They're blocking us at every. And I'll end it on this. Dan Ashworth breathed the words. I forgot the player's name. Ruben Neves. Neves, was it when he was our director? Breathed the word Ruben Neves last year. Because he wanted to see what the response from the Premier League was. People were uttering about they had an issue with multi-club ownership. So people were afraid with for instance, we would get Neymar bought by a Saudi club and have him loaned us to us for like £10 a month type of situation. When there was no issue with Man United, with Liverpool, with none of these other clubs, Man City, who actually have a multi-club ownership before. But when Newcastle said the word Ruben Neves, they called up a whole vote to try and block multi-club ownership. And the only reason it didn't come through is because of one club, and that is Nottingham Forest. And guess what Nottingham Forest are now and what they're trying to do? They're trying to get to the top as well. Yeah. So if anything, all that stuff in terms of how rich our owners is dies out because of all the laws and procedures that have come up against us, including the other clubs. So when you say, don't you want to be part of the big 6? That's why I'm so emphatically against it. It doesn't want to be. It doesn't mean I don't want to be a top club. I want to be a top club, but I don't want nothing to do with the top 6. And I really, really hope, God, by the grace of God, if we become this, we win
It's a matter
multiple leagues and trophies, that I don't become as self-entitled and self-righteous and annoying as some of these fans are. I really, really hope not. So I want nothing to do with it.
I think the benefit that you have is and what I was thinking about was exactly this question, and Toki's timing was brilliant. He said Isak's coming the carpet to Arsenal type player. He wants Champions League. And I think I don't see any Newcastle player leaving for another Premier League club simply because Newcastle have the resources to keep them. Isak won't leave to go Arsenal. If Isak leaves to go Arsenal, then there's no point to your owners. For me, you can't. You get what I'm saying? Like I can't. That's the leverage I think you have. You can say to Isak, "Don't worry, don't go nowhere, because we're going to do what we need to do."
What makes me positive is that Gordon was supposed to leave in the summer. He signed a new contract. Bruno signed a new contract when he was supposed to leave. He's been at the club since the takeover. In fact, Bruno joined the club with no condition. We were second bottom in the table, by the way, when he joined. And there was no release clause. So if we got relegated, Bruno Gomes would be playing a championship.
Wow.
So there were players who we could have signed, but would wanted these kind of clauses. And we said no. Bruno stayed. I'm not saying it's impossible if Man City, but I'm saying that we've got guys that have already committed. I don't know what the average length of time that a really good player stays at our club, but 3.5 years. And if we don't deliver on our end, I'll understand it. Isak, he's still got 3.5 years. Now I agree with you. I think if it would be more, it would have to be I would hope it'd be a foreign club that gets it. But unless and if you think about it again, we're talking about our owners. Look how the media, Sky Sports, how they talk about Isak and Arsenal. They almost talk about like it's a given thing. Like he's on Reed. Like it's gonna be a matter of time. And what have Arsenal done that Newcastle haven't done since our takeover? Because we've been in cup finals, we've been in Champions League, we've beaten Arsenal more times than beat. I think I want to say more times than they've beaten us since our takeover.
I think so. I agree. I think you've beaten them more times than they've beaten you in recent games.
So what gives them the right to say Arsenal this? I'll be more understanding if it's Liverpool, Man City, Barcelona, Real Madrid, guys that are at the top winning stuff. I'll understand it a little bit more. And I've got no grievance against Arsenal. But to be talking about us as if we're like a stepping stone club when no major player has left Newcastle yet. Our most expensive sell has been Chris Wood. So, you know,
he's a gunman, that brother.
And he's exactly.
Irony
exactly. So look, I'm not saying these things are impossible. I'm not acting like Newcastle are the status of clubs, but I do think you're right. Our owners, there must be something behind the scenes where Eddie Howe and the owners have given them a dream, or in a positive sense, to say, look, we're on the way up. We're about to build a new stadium. We're doing all these incredible things. Hang with us. And look, they're doing it so far. So it is what it is. I see us again. We're like leaders of the rebellion. That's my take.
Well, I love it, because for me, there's nothing more that pleases me than, you know, a story of rebellion, a story of being out in the districts, and then you come into the capital and you win the Hunger Games, as it were. Do you know what I'm saying? So I love all of that. And yeah, big up, man. Tuna, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a different kind of preview. It was more of a reflective preview of where our clubs are going. I guess let's just quickly conclude, bro. I mean,
yes, sir.
One person asked me in the chat, can Newcastle finish above Arsenal? And if not, where can you finish?
So my expectations for answering that question directly, I don't do it in places. When I do my expectations, I do it in terms of points. So my expectation for Newcastle is 64 to 68 points. Whether that ends up being Champions League, conference, whether it's above Arsenal, below Arsenal, it's not about Arsenal. I don't care about Arsenal. It's about Newcastle's progression. So I looked at 64 to 68 points as a reasonable progression for Newcastle, plus semi-finals and finals for cup competitions. We're in the semi-final already. So Eddie, and we're 5th place currently. and we're on the trajectory to getting 64, 68 points.
Yeah.
So we are where we are. Whether that ends up being above Arsenal or not, my view of Newcastle isn't hindered on Arsenal. Somebody mentioned Sunderland. It's not. I don't think about Sunderland, even if they were in the Premier League. My view of Newcastle is Newcastle. Like that's the focus on it. So I don't look at it. I don't know if Mr. Rampage, if you're a Tottenham fan and you say we haven't won a trophy since ever, very true. And I don't know whether this is a bit of trauma you feel as a Tottenham fan when the big six keep on reminding you that you haven't won a trophy in a long time. That now you've met a person from a club whose club haven't seen trophies even longer than you. You feel now to take out that pain against me. But you know what, brother? I want to let you know that I receive it.
Yeah,
I receive it, and I understand your pain more than you could ever know.
To be fair, and I don't think that is a dig. I don't think that's a dig at all. I think it's more.
Oh, he's an Arsenal fan. He's an Arsenal
fan. That's probably why all these Arsenal. I actually think Arsenal fans are rattled by Newcastle. You know, I think they genuinely have like a sore spot for your club because they know usually you have some part to play as to why they
haven't gone somewhere. Yeah.
They go on to kind of do their thing. But no, I think it's been an absolutely pleasure. Big up to everyone that's locked on. Fraser Forster, breaking news, won't be playing whoopity-doo. Look, I'm not holding my breath tomorrow. Toon has gone with his kind of conservative approach because that's what Toon does. He likes to do this very unpolite, all with the silver spoon kind of narrative. So he's gone with the kind of 2-0. I've gone with 5-0 plus for Newcastle tomorrow. Yeah. What's that?
Wow.
You were going to say something?
I said, yeah, only if the rumors are true that you got Archie Gray, Dragons and those guys are.
Even if they were there, bro. Even if they were there, don't matter. Don't matter. I'm not buying that. Don't do that. Don't do that. We are rubbish. We are crap right now. It's a pleasure listening to you because when I look at Newcastle, I think that's where Spurs should have been. Really,
but you have been there. You have been there. You just having to get it back. You just need to get it back. That's all that it is. I'm sure you can.
Baller's got Newcastle to win 4-2, and the Goat Father has said it's going to be ugly. It will be ugly.
Who's going to be uglier for you? Newcastle, Tottenham, or Man United, Liverpool?
Wow. Legit. We are. If you want to give United, if you give them a 2 out of 10 this season, then Spurs is 3 out of 10. I can see Liverpool putting 7 or 8 past United. Like they're that rubbish. I can see 7 or 8 goals. But I could also see Tottenham, given the circumstances.
If you let us have our way in that first, if you concede in that first 15 minutes.
Let me tell you what I fear most about Newcastle before we end.
Yeah.
When you guys are physical.
Yeah.
And the one thing Tottenham is not is we are not a physical side. Hence why we struggled against Nottingham Forest. Hence why we struggled against Brighton. Hence why we struggled against Crystal Palace. We are not built for the ring. These are not about the rumble. We're not
because
about
the thing
that.
is, for me, your football kits make you look pretty and you play pretty.
We're just pretty boys, man.
Just pretty boys. That's why I miss the days when you had Wanyama, when you had Dembele. Those type of situations, I'm like, these men are ferocious, bro.
I'm seeing Van Dijk say to Solanke, "Get out my way, bro!" Like he's putting his Van Dijk is putting his hand on Solanke's head like this. Don't move. You know, like come on. It's a joke.
Let's see you do that. Let's see you do that to Dan Burn. We'll see what happens, isn't it?
Dan Burn is gonna slap it. Oh gosh, it's low for us. It's low. Anyway, at least for those who think I'm delusional, at least they know that I'm not that delusional. I'm legit. We can't.
100%. 100%.
Was to get a draw, bro. I swear, Dan. That's like beating Real Madrid tomorrow. I swear, we ain't doing jack. Not with that squad. It's not happening,
It
bro.
could kick off a revival for you guys. You never know. You might find something with it. You only find out who you are in these type of adversities, and you know who wants to be there. You'll know who wants to be there.
Bro, I hope. I mean, it's very nice of you to say that, bro. It's very nice.
Like for me, Kulu plays like he wants to be there. I know that he's not everybody's favorite sometimes, but I've seen them against Liverpool and stuff like that when he was still getting the ball, carrying it forward. And I thought, you know what? Fair play. That way you know who wants to be there, who wants to be at the club. So you know what? That's where it is, man.
Big up to my bro Months, Big Six Bands raid in the building. I saw the numbers just shoot up. Months, thank you very much. Happy New Year. Big up to the Big Six Bands. Man sending me a gift, because he knows that my club is in the mudders right now. So big up to you, my bro. Thank you very, very much. Neil saying Tottenham have a soft on the belly. So yeah, no, big up to you, bro. Tune.
Yes, sir.
Let the people them know what you have coming up. I'm loving what you're doing. I see you active. I saw you in yesterday, so let us know, bro. Thank you.
No, thank you again, Deji, for inviting me to your incredible show. Amazing chat. I hope I wasn't too overwhelming and too annoying.
Nah, bro, it was.
I hope it was all good.
We could have. You know what? It was good. We could have done the kind of tactical stuff. I feel like we've done that. We already know that my club's in the mess. Let's just talk football, and I actually appreciate what Newcastle is trying to do. Yes. And actually, I would like to see Newcastle break that top four crap. If Tottenham ain't going to be there, you or Villa do it. Like that. Like I can be gracious in defeat. One of you take our spot. You know what I mean?
You want us to see us annoy the top six guys and just remind them.
Them Chelsea brothers are getting on my nerves.
Yeah. Remind them money can't buy. Money can't buy you happiness, guys. But yeah, no, guys, you can find me on Toon Tactics TV. That is my Twitter handle, X or Twitter handle. Again, Toon Tactics TV on YouTube and on TikTok as well. My next video is going to be live stream is going to be on Tuesday. Going to be reviewing. You also catch me and Deji on the Rival show next week, Wednesday. The guys on there have given me a very big privilege in kind of co-hosting the show at times as well. So I'm very, very appreciative and grateful for that. We genuinely, if you guys have watched the show, you know that I, from my perspective, I genuinely enjoy these guys' company. That's what the football show. That show is particularly good. So, guys, if you haven't heard about it before, I do really invite you to come and see it as well. It's represented by obviously all the big six clubs and Newcastle.
Big up. No, and I'm there. I will be on that show next week. I'll be doing shows on Spurs King TV. I didn't get to last year for time reasons, but I'm carving out time because I've joined them. You know what I mean? I'm part of Ash and Marlon. So 100%. I will be there doing my thing. Just to say as a final thought, Son of Chelsea says, you're gracious in defeat, then behave. Will you? Bro, I can be gracious, bro. Like I'm saying to Newcastle and Villa, go and do your thing. Go and dismantle your club. Go and dismantle the Arsenals of this world. Like, go ahead. You've got my well wishes because I don't want to see Chelsea or Arsenal in the top four. So I'm quite happy to see your clubs in the mud if it means my club is in the mud. Yes, I am that shameless. And halftime hook, big up to my brother. He says we got to do something for the North London derby. So the answer is yes. I just want to be real with you, bro. Like legitly. So Toon, you might not have heard this, but I just want to end on this. So look, I don't have high hopes for my club this month.
Right.
So I was thinking of timing. I need to go gym, and I'm kind of thinking that I might time an overseas trip to Thailand on a yoga retreat round about the 14th, 15th, and 16th of Jan. Because the game against Arsenal on the 15th. Partly because I just don't want anyone. I don't want to have access to Wi-Fi. If I can be brutally honest. And I keep being on a yoga retreat and humming. it's a good excuse for people
No.
not to be in contact with, man.
100%,
You know what I'm saying?
100%. I understand where you're coming from. I've been
So,
there. I've been
bruh,
there. You're
so the
talking to a fellow
bruh,
sufferer.
so Hawks, the answer is yes. But if I somehow I'm in Thailand on this yoga retreat humming, you know, like that, then actually at the end of the month. Nah, just kidding. So let's make it happen, brother. Let's make it happen. For real. Let's make it happen. We'll make it happen. But big up to everyone locked in.
Big up
Happy
to the chat.
New Year. I'm back tomorrow at 12:15 for the game. And I'm so happy that this is the first game because in my mind, the quicker we get this beating done, the better. Yeah? And on that note, we are out.